I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck. I believe I'm self-made, yeah. I don't think I do it. Arsenal started like house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck. I believe I'm self-made, yeah.
You ready?
Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. It is, of course, return of the Mac. Welcome back. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and, of course, hit that notification bell. Well, here for another live impromptu transfer stream. I hope you are all doing well. Best WWE theme ever. Tell me about it, brother.
Are you ready?
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. I do love it. I'm gonna get some more, you know. I hear voices in my head. All them. Love the WWE references. Love the US&A references. Like, let's not forget, yeah, we're about to complete the hat. You know, we're about to complete the hat, people. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Weston Mckennie, man. Weston Mckennie might be on his way to Leeds United. We've completed the hat trick. Brendan A.A. Ronson, Tyler Adams, and of course Weston Mckennie has been linked in the last 24 to 48 hours to Leeds United. I, for one, I'm really pumped about that. I can't lie to you. Yeah, man. Weston Mckennie, very, very good player. We'll go through his stats. I think people will check his stats and think, but no, listen. I think it's a very, very good transfer if Leeds United can get it done. We'll have a chat about it. We've got loads to get through, right? We're going to talk about Marcelo Bielsa. All you Jessies will be gone, won't you? Because, you know, Marcelo Bielsa. Yeah! It is, right? He has. He's gone. But I still want to talk about him because I feel like us and Everton are sort of intertwined a little bit. And that's because we've also been linked to Michael Keane. Michael Keane, centre-back. If we're going to get anyone from Everton, centre-back wise, I'd prefer it to be Mason Holgate because the guy's got a bit of pace. We lack pace. Michael Keane has the turning circle of a cart horse. Do you know what I mean? Like, good. It's long. Holy Ghost, big up to you. I've still to listen to your voice more. It's a long one. It's a long one. But I've been mad busy. Just let me sort the dog out. Stop going in the bin. Basically, I've left a wrapper from a cupcake that he had in the bin. So he keeps knocking the bin over and trying to chew through the paper. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about Azzedine Ounahi, Weston Mckennie, maybe another midfielder who might be out there. I feel what's happening is, remember the video that we did with Ben Jacobs? There was a lot of chit-chat about putting the feelers out there. I don't know if Azzedine Ounahi maybe is the number one pick, and maybe are we going to feel it out for Mckennie and go back to Angers and say, listen, we can get Weston Mckennie for 20 million from Juve. So what are you going to do? So we're not going to pay for that for Azzedine Ounahi. There might be a lot of moving parts, right? I do believe that Leeds United are definitely putting feelers out there in the centre midfield market. It looks for sure that Leeds United will get a centre midfielder before the end of the window, which is, of course, next Friday. And we'll be doing plenty of streams during that. So it's going to be interesting to see where the cookie crumbles, you know, where it falls, who the centre midfielder will be. I want to know your folks' preference. Mine, personally, as much as I like Azzedine Ounahi, I like the idea of Weston Mckennie coming to Leeds United to play alongside his buddy Tyler Adams and obviously Brendan A.A. Ronson. And I think Jesse has the cards in his pocket in terms of being able to get that deal over the line. We are basically the United States of Leeds, right? I don't think Weston would be in place of Rocker. I think there's been a lot of disrespect towards Mark Rocker, and I don't understand it because he's a great player. But I think it's that midfield three. It's that midfield three. And a midfield three of Ounahi, Adams, and Rocker, or not Ounahi. Ounahi, Rocker, and Adams, or alternatively, Rocker, Adams, Mckennie. It's nice. It's nice. And Weston McKennie's got some very favourable stats in terms of where he is across the top 5 leagues for touches in the opposition box, progressive passes as well. He's in the top 10% within the Europe's top 5 leagues for that. And Matt Rocker's up there as well. So it'd be nice to have both him. Listen, Weston McKennie did an interview where he basically said, Tyler Adams is the water carrier and I'm the one that plays football when it comes to the USA men's national team. And that's what Tyler Adams is there to do, right? He is basically breaks up the play, moves the ball on, and gives it to those that can, play them line-breaking passes, etc. So I think Weston McKennie would be my preference, but Azzedine Ounahi's great at that as well, right? So I just like the idea of another American coming into the side because I think it's just huge for the football club in terms of exposure, etc. For us to get one more in the door, why not? And it's not as if we're not just signing them for the sake of it. I remember speaking to my friend at who's a Middlesbrough fan when Victor Ott was there. He signed someone from the Asian market, and if you remember when he came to Leeds United, he also signed Ideguchi. They do that, right? They make them sort of signings to maybe boost the profile of the football club. We know the profile of Leeds United already in the States is massive, just like it is in South America after Marcelo Bielsa. So just signing Weston McKennie would add to that. And we're not signing a dud here, right? We're not signing a dud here. Weston McKennie is a very, very good player. And if Leeds United can make it happen, then I think it's absolutely huge. Now, there is loads for us to go through today. So get locked in. We're going to go through it all. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell, as is always the case. But like I said, we've got loads to get through today, and I'm really excited to be able to bring one of these videos back to you. It's going to be a mad few weeks for Leeds United, especially when you consider that we have the prospect of having Forest, Man United all in the space of a week. It's going to be mad. Jose Lopez with the super chat. Big up to you, my brother. Thank you very much. He says, Weston likes to party and eat. How's the food and the clubs down there? Right, okay. Yeah, I suppose. Get himself out in Beeston. Get himself a nice curry in Yorkshire for sure. And Leeds is just fantastic, isn't it? It's amazing, but hopefully he comes and he's not going out and partying because that's not what we want. But yeah, Turin's much better than Yorkshire and Leeds, really. And I'm a Yorkshireman, but I'd rather be in Turin, I think. But listen, there's lots of moving parts as well, like with the situation at Juve, because they have that issue where they've been basically falsifying figures and messing around with numbers when it comes to when it comes to financial fair play, especially through COVID. They've been done, right. They're getting, minus 15-point deduction or whatever it is. And what I will say, for those that say Weston's not the guy, do you remember when you all told me Tyler Adams was not the guy and that we should have signed Mo Kamara? Stick with your boy. It was never in doubt, as they say. So let's not write this guy off, because everyone did that with Tyler Adams, and look how that worked out for you, because Tyler Adams is possibly our best player this season, him with many others, of course, but he's definitely a shining light of the new signings that we brought in. And if we're being honest, 90% of the fan base didn't fancy him, especially on social media and other YouTube channels, etc. So, let's not be writing the guy off. Listen, either way, Ounahi or Weston McKennie, would be massive improvements. Like, even those that are saying it's an L, right? Let's say it is an L. Is he better than Adam Forshaw? Yes. Is he better than Matthias Klick? Yes, and I love Matthias Klick. Who else have we got there? Greenwood has had to play on the right of a 3 when we have played with the midfield 3. Who Darko JB, still a lot of growing to do. We need another midfielder, and Weston would improve Leeds United. Even if you think it's an L and you don't think he's good enough, he's better than Adam Forshaw. Let's be realistic. So as a Premier League team, we need to improve our squad, and Weston Mckennie does that. You know, it raises the ceiling. It raises the ceiling of the football club, for sure. But listen, we're going to go through a lot of news. We're going to start, obviously, and as always, I like to share my screen, so I'm going to do that for you. Let me just move me over here, and we'll do that. I think I prefer it to be nice and interactive. So there we go. So this is the initial story from Di Marzio. Leeds make contact with Juve for Weston Mckennie. Now, Leeds have started first contacts with Juventus to try to bring Weston Mckennie to England. The midfielder is really liked by the club, who would like to join him with the many Americans in the team, such as Aronson, Tyler Adams, and of course Jesse Marsh. And for me, that there is it's huge, the fact that we have as many Americans at the football club as we do. Going on, the rest of the article says he joined from Juve in 2020 from Schalke, was on the pitch 21 times in his first part of the season, scoring 3 goals and 2 assists in Serie A, Coppa Italia, and the Champions League. Again, another with Champions League experience, which is very, very great for Leeds United, right? You know, the fact that the players that we're bringing in have experience of the highest order, you know, it can't be undervalued just how important it is. Now, we'll just have a look at a little bit more detail into Weston Mckennie, and we go to Transfermarkt for that. So Weston Mckennie, 24-year-old from Little Elm in Texas, plays in centre midfield. 15 appearances this season in the Serie A for Juve, 5 in the Champions League, couple of goals in the Champions League as well, which is very important, and obviously just the 1 appearance in Coppa Italia. Now, currently valued at around about £20 million, 21 million euros, should I say. Highest market value, of course, was 25 million. You can see there his career up to this date was at the Dallas Academy, then went to Schalke and played through their youth system, then got a transfer over to Juve he went on loan initially for 4.5 million euros. Then it was made permanent for 20 million. And look, if he does come to the Premier League, I would imagine it would be to a similar kind of amount, really, that Weston Mckennie would come to the Premier League for, around about 20 million, which is what has been touted when you look at the figures that are being bandied about for Azzedine Ounahi. That's the sort of transfer figures that are being banded about there. What we're going to do now is just quickly have a look at FB Ref. Now, FB Ref, if we look here, this is where he compares on the left here amongst the top 5 European leagues. Now, you can see here his touches in the attacking penalty box, 84%. So, and the big one for me is the progressive passes. He's in there, the top 10% of players across the European top 5 leagues. So for him to be up there shows, and I would argue it's something we miss. It's something we miss. Then penetrative passes. Obviously, Rocker gives it us, and he's very highly rated in the Premier League. And to have Weston Mckennie either side, you know, so Mckennie and Rocker either side of Tyler Adams, for me is a great get, and it's something that I'd be you know, very, very happy about. Now, in terms of who is comparable to statistically, players you'll see in there's quite a lot in the Premier League. So you have Harrison Reed, Sean Longstaff, Vitaly Yano, Jeffrey Schlupp, Dendonka, Adrian Rabiot, of course, was linked to Manchester United, Musu Sissoko. So a lot of Premier League players he's very similarly to statistically. If we have a look at, just bear with us 1 second, his numbers, you can see this season in a Serie A campaign that has played 19 times. Let me just go back to where I was. Sorry, a lot of darting about here. A season that has took place 19 times. Sorry, where has he has played? Just bear me 1 second. Let me just zoom this out a sec. Where's his appearances? 11.790s, but normally it'll tell you how many appearances. I don't know why it's done that. Have I gone on there? Oh, that's shooting. I'm looking at shooting. My apologies. Standard stats. Here we are. So on his standard stats for Juve this season in the league that's played 19 up to this point, he's played 15 times, 13 of them being starts, and has played over 1,000 minutes. Now, everyone just looks at numbers, yeah? They just go, oh, well, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 goal, 1 assist. It's not always about their numbers. It's what he can add to Leeds United, right? And what he can give us. Banjax, I don't believe it is, mate. I know a lot of people that are, who work at places like TIFO, etc., which is the pinnacle, I guess, of statistical football boffins, if you like, use FB Ref. But if it doesn't fit your narrative, then that's totally fine. So yeah, listen, I think he would be a very, very good acquisition for Leeds United. We're going to talk a little bit more as well about an interview that he did whilst away on international duty. I know Talk Sport just mentioned in there that he's not really a runner, but when asked about his relationship with Tyler Adams, let's just pull up that interview. I think it's quite interesting, and it just comes back to that idea of, water carrier and footballer kind of vibe that goes way back. Give it to the person that can play football. And I'm just going to bring up this interview for you. So this is on 90minute.com, which Leeds United Live have also. Let me just try to get rid of this. It does me head in. I need an ad blocker, as people keep saying to me. But when I move down here, it moves down there. But if we look here, so it says one of the things, this was an interview that he did prior to a friendly against Japan. My phone's going mad. The reason my phone's going mad is I'm expecting a phone call about a prospective job, so I've got to have it on loud. So he says, one of the things, as for me and Tyler, we have learned about each other is that he does all the running and I do all the playing. No, I'm just kidding. But there will be a little bit of validity to that. I'm just going to have to mute that a second. Oh, what's that? Oh, Hasenhutl's being considered for the Everton job is the latest update. We'll talk about that in a sec. But Mckennie's joking to reporters, but there is a bit of validity to that, right? Tyler Adams is the one breaking it all up. Mckennie's doing the work, obviously has Musa either side of him as well. And I see a lot of people, praising Musa as well. And it'd be nice to be able to get him in. But I think a midfield three of Mckennie, Rocker and Adams works perfectly for me. He said, for us being together for as long as we have and knowing each other for so long, I think we've developed a relationship that we know each other's tendencies. We know each other's abilities. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to cover for one another. I think that again also excites me. The fact that these two have played together for such a long time and know each other's game inside out, and I believe it would be one of the reasons that would get this deal over the line for Leeds United, because I dare say without Adams, without Aronson, without Jesse, this deal wouldn't even be in discussion. I don't think that Leeds would be even in the hunt for a player that's in the ilk of Weston McKennie. So I think that's important, that they have that working relationship, if you like. And I think for me, he would, let's have a look. Weston is not good. 21 starts last season. Buying bench players like that has worked. No names, man. There's a difference between Juventus and Leeds United, isn't there? Like, I think there needs to be a little bit of realism here. Like, what are you expecting? Picking up Juventus as number one midfielder? Is that what we're saying? And as I've just outlined to you just a second ago, they've played 19 games this season, of which he has started 13. So he started 6. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand it. Yeah, very attack-minded. As I say, he's rated within the top 10% across Europe's top 5 leagues for progressive passes. Also the top what I would say 15% of touches in the attacking penalty box. And that's something that Leeds United will need him for. Also played in the Champions League, scored 2 in the Champions League. So to rubbish him as a bench player for Juve is a little bit, short-sighted. Sometimes, and this is what I always say, and if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. We need to be realistic of where we are as a football club. Do you know what I mean? I feel and agree with Stephen that for me, I would prefer the Weston Mckennie deal. I would prefer the Weston Mckennie deal. And like someone's just said, Eric Souza said, look, he had a stretch where he was injured this season as well. So had he not been injured, maybe he'd played all 19 games for Juve. It's Stud thinks he's going to Arsenal. I've not seen anything, mate. All the links that are coming from the top tiers, your Fabrizio Romano's, your Moretto over in Spain, are all saying Leeds United have inquired. I've not seen anything from them linking Arsenal to Weston Mckennie, and I don't see it happening because I believe they've just signed a Polish midfielder, haven't they, as well? So I'm not sure that's true, mate. Just having a look. Okay. Marcelo Bielsa. This has just come in from Cesar Luis Merillo. He says Marcelo Bielsa has rejected the offer to take over as Everton's new manager. He said, nah, not for me. Skywalker Ryu says he is Juve's best attacking midfielder over the last few years. Let's have a look. Everton owner Ford Mashiri wants Marcelo Bielsa. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Listen, I thought it was mad that they thought he was. Just having a look at this Arsenal to Mckennie link that's just been mentioned, but there's nothing there from any sort of credible sources. But as I say, Weston Mckennie, and just to show you that tweet that came from the top guy, if you like, Fabrizio Romano. Leeds are exploring new options for the midfield, including Weston Mckennie. It's one of the possibilities by the club, as Matteo Moretto has reported. The list still includes Azzedine Ounahi after opening bid made weeks ago. As we know, Napoli are willing to do a deal for Ounahi around about 50 million. We've gone higher than that. I believe we've agreed personal terms with the player, etc. So it's still up in the air. That I guess Angers. I think Leeds United are also waiting. You know, we did a fantastic transfer stream with Ben Jacobs, and he explained the ins and outs of prospective transfers. Leeds United could be using the Weston Mckennie noise to leverage a deal for Azzedine Ounahi. Do you know what I mean? And this sort of centre midfielder acquisition we might find might happen towards the end of the window. But I, for one, as a Leeds United fan, I'm grateful that we're doing that. You know, it seems like we're getting our eggs in a row for when we want to make that move, not rushing around the day before the deadline going, what are we going to do? Which striker are we going to get? Leeds United are clear on what they want. They're just waiting for it all, to land, really. But yeah, Fabrizio Romano has said, and listen, this is the fact, right? I know a lot of people need it to come from the UK-based journalists, and it's no disrespect to them, but you will have noticed that they are now also retweeting the Fabrizio Romanos, etc. I think there was a lot of, they don't know what they're talking, they're this, they're that, when in actual fact, Fabrizio's top tier. You know, Ben Jacobs is up there, David Ornstein, and a lot of people, rightly so, in the Championship. Well, so-and-so hasn't reported it, so it's not true. When you'll see now that these people are also retweeting the same journalist that what I am, you know. So when people say you haven't got a clue, it's like, well, I'm getting it from the same places that they are, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not professing to be ITK. Anyone can follow Fabrizio Romano, etc. But I'm just saying, like, those, it's serious when these sort of people get on it for me. And like I say, Leeds United have reached out, they've made contact with Juve, and as we know, Juve have got many, many issues. I'm actually about to listen to a podcast that was done by The Athletic on what's actually gone on at Juve, but basically they've tried to leverage certain payments for financial fair play, because what they did is they got players to defer wages, etc. It's all a bit of a madness. This has happened at Juve before, something similar. They've got a minus 15-point deduction incoming. Everything's going bad. The guy, is it Paratici? The guy who's now at Spurs has been banned from doing any dealings in Italian sport when it comes to players, etc. So that could be another reason why Juve are thinking, shit, we need to offload players now. And these are the things that Ben Jacobs said about transfers, etc. There's a lot of moving parts, right? And this is a huge moving parts, isn't it, as well? So, yeah, Weston Mckennie looks like one that has legs. He has history with players in our team. He's an American. It just makes sense to me. It just makes sense. I can't lie to you. And it's a deal that for me I would prefer over Azzedine Ounahi. You know, just on another article that I'm just taking a look at now, and it might back up what the other lad said about forget your name, sorry mate, about the potential signing of Arsenal and Mckennie. But it does say here, look, he has been linked to a handful of Premier League sides in the winter market and is now being linked to Whites. But I've not seen Mckennie mentioned with these top-tier journalists. Have there been any sort of credible? Of course, players make inquiries. We know transfers change at the drop of a hat. Look at Dan Juma. He'd gone to Everton. He'd done all the media stuff. He'd taken pictures with the shirt. Now he's at Spurs. So, of course, we've seen, like, let's not pretend that Spurs were close to getting Luis Diaz. Liverpool nicked him. Man United were close to getting Gakpo. Liverpool nicked him. You know, these things can happen. If we did get close to a deal, it could pique the interest of all these other Premier League clubs, like a Spurs, for example, and a Conte who goes, do you know what, we'll take him. We'll take him. And of course, if the option to go to Spurs over Leeds, no disrespect, he's going to pick Spurs. So, of course, you know, it's not by any means. And as Ben Jacobs told us, and as I've been told, like, again, I'm not professing to be ITK, but I've had the information relayed to me that things are happening at Leeds United. And they are making inquiries about certain players of a similar standard, of a same position, i.e. centre midfield. And it's again, like Ben Jacobs said, it's about getting that prize packet to work off, right? And if we are in for Ounahi and it doesn't look like that's moved any further, do we then go, you know, well, Juve are willing to do a deal for Mckennie at X amount, you know? And these things happen. Like Ben Jacobs told us that players make inquiries about players they have no intention of even signing at some point, just to get a valuation out of the football club, so then they can make it compare with other, you know, other targets they may have. So all these things do happen behind closed doors. There's actually been a 4-part Sky Sports transfer window thing that I've got on my planner that I'm due to watch as well. Who's ITK? What's ITK? ITK is in the know. In the know. So you're not ITK, you're not this, you're not that. But listen, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot to happen between now and the January transfer window, which closes next Friday. And of course, keep it locked, because I'll be doing many transfer streams, etc. throughout the day. Isn't it mad? Like on Everton, they've gone from Bielsa, they were potentially looking at Sam Allardyce, and now they're looking at Ralph Hasenhüttl. Ralph Hasenhüttl will not get a tune out of Everton in the time that's needed, nor would have Bielsa. I think it's mad that he was even considering it. But now we know that he has rejected it. And I just thought it would be an absolute shit show for Marcelo Bielsa, you know, for him to go there and weave a magic wand, if you like. I like that from Tom Johansson. ITK, internet knobhead. Where's the IT? Don't really work, but I like it all the same. I like it all the same. Here's something to think about as well, just on the Mckennie thing. And I know as football fans, we want it to be a little bit more romantic, etc. But signing Mckennie is bigger for the football club commercially as well, I think. It's another ad. And let's not forget, I mean, you will have seen this, but Leeds United, little old Leeds, who've only been back in the Premier League for 3 years, coming on to 4th season, are the 18th richest club in terms of revenue in world football. That's insane, really. When you consider the names that are on that list. Do you see what I'm saying? So the potential growth, this is why the 49ers want to get involved, you know? And just adding someone like a Weston Mckennie just further full proofs this 49ers American connection. And we're not just signing dud Americans here. Weston Mckennie is a top player. If you watch the USA men's national team at the World Cup, he was great. I think Musa was standout. I like Robinson at left back, but he's at Fulham. But I think it just shows the potential growth of Leeds United. To think that they're 18th already, and you look at the list, you know, and clubs that have been in the Premier League and never dropped out. We've only been back going on 4th season, you know. I mean, Leicester City, they have a big influx due to where their chairman's from, of course, you know. I just think the club can and will grow astronomically. You know, I took a lot of stick from a Napoli fan, actually, when I said that they can't afford to finance the deal. And he came for me in my comments. But I would say to him, where are you on there? You're not even on there, brother. And Napoli are a huge club, steeped in history. But this is the point I'm making. Premier League, of course, have can flex their muscles much more. And the potential growth for Leeds United is huge, as you can see from that already 18th richest club in terms of revenue in world football. Jared Fletcher just says, just some love from Florida, bro. Good luck with your job. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just to work at Just Eat, man. Just some hours in the call center from home. Someone said actually earlier about you sound in a much better place. I am feeling in a much better place. I've knocked the monsters on the head. I'm trying to sort the diet. I'm on the water. I've been going for many walks, and someone actually sent me a link to a group in the Northeast called Men Make Pies, and it's like for men to go make pies, basically, but as a get together, you know what I mean. I guess it's a bit like Andy's Man's Club, but making pies in a way. And I've signed up to that, and I go on Friday to make pies. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. You would not believe it's been a big adjustment for me, going from a house full to separating from a partner and just me and the dogs. Like it has been difficult. I've never really felt like I have over these past few months, and just the outpouring of support that I got when I had a bit of a meltdown last Thursday was amazing. You would not believe. And so many people gave me advice and gave me things to listen to and things to do. Even just something so simple as getting up and within half an hour making sure you're outside of the house, getting sunlight in the eyes. So this morning I got up, out, dogs out, you know, and when I'm in a good place, I walk the dogs and that, but sometimes you're not in it. You're like, you know, you just want to be on your own in a way. And then, yeah, so just Terry, thank you for that, mate. I do feel in a better place. It's up and down though. Like, this is the thing. It is up and down, but I feel like I'm making progress. Do you know what I mean? So thank you for that. And yeah, thanks for everyone that reached out, which a lot of you will have done that are probably watching now. So thank you so much. And yeah, thank God for dogs, Chris, because I can't lie to you. Because if I didn't have them, yeah, I'd be in a much worse place, I think, than I have been. So yeah, my dog's man's best friend, etc. But yeah, let's get back to it. But I just want to say thanks. Phil Hayes done an article on Everton and Marcelo Bielsa, but I think I might be a little bit late to the party because that one's sort of been quashed already. If you're not fast, you're last, right? I know, Tim. I know. But like I say, sometimes it feels right. Yeah, man. No energy. Yeah. Anyway, just thank you so much, everyone. Right. Okay. So that was Weston Mckennie. The YEP have also done an article on Weston McKennie, and also touched on Azadine Ounahi. So let's go through that. I mean, the YEP is so many adverts, man. It's everywhere. Try to get me to book a flight to Rome here. That'd be nice if I had the cash in order to do that. I would go, trust me. Right, okay. So Leeds United have been linked with a move for Juve midfielder in United States international Weston McKennie as the January transfer window enters its final week. Right, this is the this is the final week, which is always an exciting time. So as we know, it'll close next Tuesday at 11 p.m. Did I say Friday? No, I said Tuesday. Did I say? No, I said Friday, didn't I? Is it Tuesday? I said Friday. I thought it was Friday. Ignore me. So it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday today? There we are. Yeah, it is Tuesday, isn't it? Come on, man. I just said I was doing better, and I'm all over the shop. James, no, I've took a year out from uni, bro. I took a year out from uni just because it was it was a lot, mate. You know what I mean? And my main passion is this channel. So if I could do this full time, I will do. And I want to put everything into that. So I have actually taken a leave of absence for a year from university because it was just getting too much for me. And that's a decision that I've made. If I go back, I go back. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? It's okay. But yeah. Right, okay, so the window will close next Tuesday at 11 p.m, meaning Leeds are required to conduct the remainder of their business over the next 7 days. He mentions Ounahi, does Joe Donahue. Make sure you follow Joe Donahue, full of great, insightful stuff and has a great knowledge of football. So this is where Leeds have said, look, the reason we've not got Azadine Ounahi over the line up to this point is because Angers' asking price has been largely prohibited following his standout tournament display in Qatar. And you can understand that, right? Because listen, there's no better time or opportune moment for Angers to get the top price for Azadine Ounahi after what was a great World Cup for him, of course. We know Napoli are interested, but they ain't got the facilities. They're not willing to pay what they want. Leeds United have had a bid, as reported by Fabrizio Romano, but it seems like there is still a little bit of, distance between. So Leeds United have started to look at alternatives. Now, as much as I'd like us to sign Mckennie, and I love the idea of it, maybe it is just being used as a way to force Angers' hand going into that last week, because they could be sat on it thinking, well, listen, if we don't sell, what are we going to do? We're stuck with him. Do you see what I'm saying? He's going to run down his deal, etc. And that's something we have to take into consideration. So they've just given us a little bit of a rundown there on Weston McKennie. I mean, there's been some great images. Look at them both. Imagine them two in your midfield. Come on. Let's have it. Like, I can't lie. This is what I'm saying. I like the idea of these two being in the same time. Let's have a look then. This is what some of the reports coming from Italy. So the perception of Mckennie by Juve fans has been mixed. He's versatile, has scored goals in bunches. But would likely suit a team who are less ball dominant than a leading Serie A club such as Juve. Exactly. And that's what we are, right? We are less ball dominant. We prefer not to have it and to give it away in order to win it back and score in quick succession. And he has progressive passes. He also has touches in the opposition box within the top 10%, in Europe's top 5 leagues. Kenny started alongside Adams in each of the United States 4 World Cup matches late last year, more as a number 8 as opposed to Adams' deeper midfield role, and will likely impact proceedings near the penalty area if he were to join Leeds during this window. And that's what we need. We need players to be able to impact closer to that penalty area, and I think he gives us that. And I believe bringing him in would be a fantastic acquisition for Leeds United. Genuinely, I think for me, my preference, Weston McKennie. For sure. And like I'm then says, there's a lot of versatility in what McKennie can give us. Azadine Ounahi, amazing signing. Wouldn't be disappointed in that by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think Weston McKennie would just be great alongside Rocker and Adams. I think it would work nice, man. It would work nice. Just had a thought while we were on that. I just want to see what Azadine Ounahi's contract situation is like, actually. In terms of how long he's got left on a deal, just to see if that is going to impact Angers making sure they sell him in this window. And also, let's have a look at what Weston McKennie's currently earning, because I guess our valuation in terms of what we play players, we know that Rodrigo's on 100k a week, Jorginho Rute's on about 70k a week, and that's been confirmed. I like when we see that green tick on Capology. You can see here, look, if we have a look, Rodrigo 100k a week, we've got Rute on 70k a week, and that's been confirmed. I'm not sure on what Azzedine Ounahi's. We've looked at it before. We can look at it again. Let's just have a look and let's just check Weston McKennie's situation first of all. Let's go to Juve. Right, okay, so Juventus, and look, they've got all the green ticks. So Weston McKennie, can you see him on there? 60k there or thereabouts per week. So he's going to want close to the 70k. I wouldn't say Mckennie that Red T, that Mckennie is more defensive minded. I don't think, as I say, in terms of his numbers, in terms of touches into the opposition box, etc., he's up there with the top 10% across Europe's top 5 leagues, and he's great for progressive passes, which is something we need alongside Adams. I would love to have Adams breaking everything up, giving it to a rocker on this side or a Mckennie on that, and then we go, and you've got Rodrigo, you've got Bamford, you've got Rutte, you've got Nonto, you've got Somerville, you have Harrison, you've got Aronson, you have options aplenty. And like Jamie says, he's very advanced number 8, if you like, but can also play out wide. That's what I'm saying. He's got a number of different facets. So yeah, this is in euros. I wonder if we can change it at all. No, we can't. That's disappointing. I wish I knew what equates to. Can someone do some quick maths? 61k. 61k in euros, or 3 million across his 3-year deal that he has. Yeah, so he's got 3 years left on a deal. Sorry, I'm looking at half of there, but it's the same. They're on a similar sort of price. Can anyone give me the equation into pounds? And while we're at it, while you just do that, just to see what he's at, I just want to take a look at Angers, and I want to look at Azzedine Ounahi, just in terms of how long he's actually got left on his deal, because that might Azzedine Ounahi in terms of wages is probably going to cost a lot less than what Weston McKennie is. Oh, so it's about 55k, says Apathetic Ambling. So if he was on about 55k, you can probably put him in the sort of ballpark of a Rutter at 70k. He's not going to get anywhere close to, like Rodrigo's on, etc. And you can understand the wage that we gave Rodrigo when he did sign, and maybe now he's starting to actually bear fruit of that. But before this season, it was very much like, oh my God, what were we doing? Please do smash a like as well if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for the shout, Andy. So Azzedine Ounahi, he has 4 years left, so that's right. Okay, so they do have time with him. But I think the thing is, Azzedine Ounahi was never as good for Angers as he was for Morocco, and I can only see his value going down, depreciating. Is that the right word? I'm trying to improve my vocabulary. Depreciating. I don't know if that's the right word, but we'll say decreasing between now and whenever the next window is in the summer, because his stock is at its highest right now. His stock is at the highest it's been, so they probably have to move him on this window. They probably have to. Depreciating is correct. Cheers, Dylan. They probably do have to move him on. So I'm not. Listen, my opinion, I'd prefer Weston McKennie. There's a little bit in the back of my mind that thinks maybe he's being used as a tool to get Azzedine Ounahi. I do believe there could also be better options for Weston McKennie in terms of where he would fit in the league. Of course, you could argue that for Ounahi, Napoli's 10 times better option, top of, City. Yeah, I get it. But of course, can they offer him the money? Can they stump up the transfer fee? I do think maybe we would be at risk if Leeds United were close to get a deal, that we could face competition from other football clubs in the Premier League. I think, potentially. Has been mentioned, someone mentioned Arsenal, for example. I've not seen anything about that. But yeah, listen, I had loads to go through on the Bielsa stuff, but it ain't happening. I think one of the main things as well, which I found quite laughable, was when he had a look at the squad, he said that that they weren't fast enough or couldn't. Listen, Everton's squad, the mentality within the team, etc. It was never going to be able to cope with his methods over such a short space of time. So it looks, as much as Sky and Paddy Power and all these betting sites were saying he's the favourite. And listen, he may have been Mashiri's favourite, but ultimately Bielsa's going to make that decision. So for me, it was never going to happen. Louis Cornelius said about Orta not being fully convinced on Ounahi and his World Cup form. Yeah, that's something to consider as well. And that's what I was meaning when I was saying about his value depreciating between now and the next window. Because if he puts in the same performances he was doing for Angers prior to the World Cup, his value is just going to come down. So if Weston McKennie's being used as, I guess, a ploy to get Ounahi over the line if he is number one's choice, then, you know, that's well worth thinking about as well. But I like the idea. I like the romance of Weston McKennie coming. I can't lie. Yeah, so listen, a lot of my stuff that I had bookmarked was about Bielsa and him maybe, and now he's saying they're too slow. And now it's come out that basically it's done. Now, one thing that really, really did take me by surprise. I'll tell you, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about centre-back, right? We're going to talk about Michael Keane, which I'm convinced isn't 100% credible. Like, it's come from TalkSport, Alex Crook. Now, he does get, I know people go, it's TalkSport, etc., but Alex Crook is the Southampton, South Coast correspondent, and does have his ear close to the ground down that end. So I'm not sure how much validity you can bank on him for knowledge in the Liverpool area or whatever. But it's clear there has been inquiries for Michael Keane. Now, Michael Keane, for me, if we're going to get a centre-back, we need one with pace, and Michael Keane doesn't have that. I'm going to show you the article, though. So initially it came from LUFC Mott, who put it up on Twitter, just to say that Leeds hold an interest in signing Everton defender Michael Keane. However, Everton are reluctant to let him join another Premier League club, right? Which makes sense. Why would they want to improve another in their thought? But then again, he's not playing. But I'm going to show you the TalkSport article that runs alongside that now. So it says he has a silver lining now that Frank Lampard's exit has been confirmed. And of course, Michael Keane might want to stick around. And this is something worth thinking about, because obviously Frank Lampard's now gone. And by all accounts, as is always the case, things haven't been great in the camp. And that's sometimes that happens with Frank Lampard, who can forget when he left Chelsea. Was it Rudiger who'd said choice words to him? Apparently, Abdoulaye Doucouré, who's also at Everton, got told he had to train on his own, not even with the 21s, because he'd had a go at Frank Lampard after the game against West Ham. And I think he'd said some things to him in French that were quite derogatory. So he said, right, you're going to go train elsewhere now. So there might be players now that might come into it and say, okay, well, I might still have a chance at Everton. I'm not sure. But Michael Keane, I'm not sure he's made for Leeds United. But listen, Max Vober's come in and improved us. I just think he's too slow. I just think he's too slow for us. But it says here, Keane was in limbo under Lampard after being blocked from leaving despite being frozen out and playing just one Premier League game this season. So it's understandable he'll want to move. He's had January interest from West Ham, Leeds and Southampton, but Everton are reluctant to let him join a Premier League rival. Yeah, look, this is the one. If I was going to get anyone, I'd prefer Mason Holgate, because Mason Holgate's got pace. You know, and that's what we like. As does Ben Godfrey as well, as Paraf says. But Michael Keane definitely is not. Jamie said we need better if we want to progress up the table. Yeah, I would argue we just need to improve, our centre backs for sure, because it is it is really alarming for me just how much of an improvement Max Vorber's give us. You know, because I was, as you know, I'm a big fan of Cooper. Don't really rate Cock. Yeah, it was great last time out, but I don't see what everyone else sees. Strauch, and I've got my Virgil van Strauch t-shirt on, actually. Virgil van Strauch, obviously Dutch connection, etc. I think we went a little bit early. That you can get that on all Leeds TV, I think, still. But Strauch's got a lot of growing to do. You know, and it brings me on really because Jesse Marsh has been chatting to the YEP about a conversation he had with Liam Cooper. And I thought this was quite interesting because he's obviously letting his club captain know that, you know, we were bringing you know, Vorber in and he plays on his side. And I just wanted to highlight a few bits where he said, look, even when I spoke to Liam about Max coming in, it was another player similar to Pascal that can play left back, centre back, said the head coach. I said that one of the strategies is that Liam, as we see right now, it's been hard for him to train all week and then be ready for a game and train all week and be ready for a game. And we need to get him into more of a rhythm where he's training and at a top level of fitness and not just preparing for matches. As we know, with Bamford, with Cooper, with others, he's had to manage their fitness and maybe sometimes they're not training. So it's quite interesting that he's had that conversation. And I think this might be the last season for Leeds to have Cooper as a mainstay in the side. And I just think the improvement straight away we had from Max Vorber is really there for all to see. So yeah, I think we might start to see the phasing out of Liam Cooper, which is maybe you would say quite a long time coming. And I love Liam Cooper, but we do need to improve. And you know, he has had such a profound effect, Max Vorber, in such a short space of time. If you haven't already, folks, as well, please do like the video. We've got 247. We've got over 500 people watching currently. So if you could like the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. Just checking on any updates since. Exclusive for you. Southampton are showing an interest in Marseille forward Bamba Dieng. Do you know what? I would love nothing more for him to come to the Premier League and get relegated with Southampton and just think, well, you could have joined us last summer, but you chose not to. You cheb. Bournemouth have struck a deal for Nicholas Jackson, who I believe has been signed from Villarreal. There you go. So he could be coming to the Premier League, but not for Leeds United. Have you seen that Harrison is linked with Leicester? I've not seen that, mate, from any sort of credible sources. It'd be first I'd be hearing of it. But listen, for me, Harrison's getting back into form again, and I think we'd be silly to move him on. I still think there's time for his valuation to increase. I'm just going to have a look. Let's have a look at this. I've not seen anything. I'm just having a look at the current Leeds United news just to see if there's anything on there. There's an article here that was done by Chris Smith on Leeds All Over, who just says Leeds have set an asking price of around about 35 million for him. I've not seen the Leicester links. Daily Mail reporting that Magpies are keen on Harrison. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But listen, if people want to come and get him and they're willing to pay 35 million, yeah, I'd be on that. Southie said, just wish Harrison was so hit and miss, lack of consistency. Yeah, he's always been a little bit like that, and hopefully, you know, that'll change. I think he's a good player, you know, and when he's on it, he's on it. You know, he scored a hat-trick against West Ham last season, and scoring a hat-trick in the Premier League it's not an easy thing to do unless you're Erling Haaland. Not everyone does it, right? Not everyone can do it. So yeah, another bit of news as well. Obviously, moving on from the Michael Keane stuff, I'm not sure I agree with that even being a credible thing. But as I say, Might just be names thrown out there. Maybe Southampton are linked. It's come from Alex Crook, who is the South Coast correspondent. So maybe he's just putting extra names out there. I'm not too sure. Quite interesting to know. And I think this sort of involves Leeds United, folks. So I'm going to share it with you because it's going to have a knock-on effect for us. So David Raya, he looks like he's not going to renew a new contract with Brentford. His contract ends next summer. So it looks like Brentford will have to cash in. And if they do, clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea and Tottenham are interested. And we've spoken before about Man United wanting to replace De Gea, about Tottenham wanting to replace Hugo Lloris. Chelsea will look for a new keeper because I don't think they're 100% sold on Kepa and he's their current number one. So David Raya looks to be the main target for these teams. And I think that's it's impositive. I don't know why I kept saying that. My bad. It's positive for Leeds United because it means maybe we get the chance to hold on to Meslier for longer. You know what I mean? If David Raya is a lot of these clubs' number one targets. But then again, let's say he goes to Spurs because Spurs need to replace Lloris. I think that's the most in demand out of them three clubs mentioned there. Does that mean then Man United have to come from Meslier or Chelsea? Vice versa, you know what I mean? But it looks at this moment in time that David Raya is his number one pick. So I know it's not specific on the money news for Leeds United fans, but I think it's worth noting because we know that Meslier is a wanted man and no doubt will become a wanted man. Another report that's, again, Richard Roth, Dan Juma's on his way to Spurs, bro. I don't know where you've seen that link. He's not. Dan Juma's not coming to Leeds United now, nor do I want him, to be honest. We don't need him in the role that he plays. We've already got enough players that do that. And, listen, he wanted to come to Leeds United when he was playing for Bournemouth. For me, he is the epitome of a type of character that Jesse does not want around the football club. When he was at Bournemouth, he was twerking for Leeds United and other Premier League clubs. Then he went to Villarreal and he came to the Premier League twerking for Premier League clubs. Like him and his agent came over because I seen someone, a Villarreal fan, laughing at him saying, listen, he's gone over thinking he's getting top six and he's going to end up getting the Everton role and they could get relegated. So I think he has a very high opinion of himself. Yes, he smashed it, but I just feel that he's not the guy that we need in terms of characters, etc. Okay, so thank you for that. Was it Owen? Owen's just tagged me something in Twitter. So this is from the 23rd of Jan. Giovanni Albanese, who I don't know about his as in Gazzetta del Sport. It's not even, I don't know if it's 100% credible, but Arsenal are on the trail of Weston McKennie. But that was on the 23rd of Jan. We're now on it's just yesterday. Wow, okay. Premier League most probable destination. I don't see Arsenal being in for Weston McKennie. Thank you very much, Owen, for tagging me in that. I am just going to, what I'll do is I'll just have a look at Fabrizio Romano and I just want to search not Dan Juna. I'm just going to search on his profile for Weston McKennie and see if there's been anything mentioned about links to Weston McKennie from them. Let's have a look. Latest. Leeds, Juventus. This was in July. Allegri, Matthias de Ligt will be ready to put. I think Weston McKennie will stay here at Juve this summer. There's nothing there from Fabrizio that mentions Arsenal and Weston McKennie, so I'm not too sure on the validity or the accurateness of the other fella. That was yesterday, but it looks to me from the sources that it's coming from that Leeds are serious about it. But we'll have to wait and see. Just to finish up as well, Joe Donoghue, as I say, ball knowledge is second to none. He's done an article here about Leeds United in a good position to land highly rated Southampton winger Jimmy J. Morgan, who's 17. He has 4 goals and 5 assists in 600 Premier League 2 minutes this season. And apparently he's turned down pro terms at Southampton. There was an article as well I was just reading as well that it says, you know, he looks like he's going to opt for Leeds United. And we know, I remember the guy Tesgel, who was at Stoke, who we were after, who was being likened to Harry Kane, etc. Obviously, that one didn't happen. He ended up staying at Stoke. Yeah, Sham Arsenal have just signed a midfielder as well, a Polish midfielder. But yeah, that one looks like... Why, George? Why don't you want youngsters? You're mad. Why don't you want youngsters? Leeds United are always looking for the next best thing. Now, that's not being keyed as a first-team signing, but if you never went for youngsters, then you're never going to have emerging talent, and Leeds United have that in abundance. You just have to look at some of the players that are in our first team, i.e. Ilian Melier, i.e. Pascal Struijk, i.e. Joe Gelhardt, Sam Greenwood, all these players that were signed as emerging talents. Yeah? So, yeah. Something worth Daily Mail. Forget Daily Mail, man. Forget Daily Mail. Like I say, it said they've inquired yesterday. If they inquired yesterday, and there is, but I've not seen any credible sources to that. But like I've said, it could well be an option. For me, listen, Ounahi, yes, I'd be happy with. But my preference would be Mckennie. I just think it's a little bit romantic. And I said that with the Tyler Adams stuff, the American Revolution and all that jazz. So, yeah, I'm all about that life. Yeah, I think it'd be a great acquisition. So, I'd be well all over that. For me, Weston Mckennie every day of the week. My expat life in Colombia says I got sinking feeling January. I don't think it is, mate. Leeds United will get a centre midfielder. I actually have confidence, you know, for the last few many weeks, but with the 49ers flexing their muscles, 49ers putting down the cash, we will get a midfielder. There's too much noise. We've had a bid put in for Ounahi. They want more. We're now looking at, you know, we're looking at Weston Mckennie. That may well just be a ploy and a use to use to get Azzedine Ounahi over the line. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Toddy, I will be playing FIFA at some point. Maybe later, maybe not. I'm not too sure. I have to wait and see. But yeah, it will be back. Of course, it will be back. Because I enjoy doing it. But yeah, I think signing Mckennie, having him alongside Rocker and Adams in a midfield 4-3-3 would be great. You know, Rodrigo up top or Bamford, and then either have Nonto, Rutter, Somerville, Harrison, Aronson. Like the possibilities are endless, and that's also with Ounahi. But I just like the idea of Leeds United signing Mckennie. You know, I'm an emotional guy, and I think it's a bit of an emotional signing for me. So I think it's good. And those that say it's an L and are not on it, etc., even if it is, you know, not to your liking, it's still an improvement on Adam Forshaw, which is underneath it. You know. We'll wait and see. Like Mark says, it's all a foil for Ounahi. Could well be that, couldn't it? Could well be that, and Leeds United might not be serious, and Arsenal may be serious on Mckennie, and you know. But even the fact that it's out there, it almost has the ability to force Angers' hand, you know. And these sort of things happen. If you haven't watched it, watch the Ben Jacobs interview podcast that I did, because it gives you all that there. Wednesday tomorrow. Potentially the return of midweek fix. I'll have to keep you posted on that. Someone's just sent me a message. Let me just check something. Nah, it's nothing. That's just a how are you message, so don't worry. Listen, wow. Thanks everyone for tuning in as always. Thanks for the super chats. Getting tired now. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the love and support. make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat, so you don't miss when I do go live on FIFA, so you don't miss the next transfer stream, because there'll probably be one tomorrow. Because listen, we've got a week and counting, folks, a week and counting before the transfer window slams shut. And of course on Saturday we will be playing either Boreham Wood or Accrington Stanley, who play tonight. They play tonight. So yeah, let's wait and see how that one develops. I prefer Boreham Wood. I like the idea of an on-league. So yeah, smash a like. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace now.